If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader when the leader.
Oh my God.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
I just want to dedicate this song to all the lovers in the world tonight. And I expect that to be the whole world because everybody needs someone, something to love. When it's cold outside, girl, who are you holding? You be holding me. Well, 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 well. Shit, if y'all don't mind, can I talk about this woman I have? She's always complaining about the things she ain't got to, and the things a girlfriend got to. But lady, I wanna let you know I can't be in two places at one time. If you think you're lonely now, oh yeah, wait until tonight, girl. Oh, you better wait till tonight. Yeah, baby.
Welcome in. Happy Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed your holiday weekend. And now you've got your snacks, your beverages, and you are ready to get into these trending topics and headlines. First up, shout out to KC Haley. Happy birthday, KC. He did his thing with this remake. Andy says it's better than Bobby Womack's original. I haven't listened to the original in a very long time, but I might be inclined to agree with you, Andy. All I know is when this dropped, listen. Shout out to see what's that group, man. Roy L. Jenkins in the chat agrees with you. They already started. He said KC's version. So there it is right there. Well, welcome back to the Culture's Front Row Seat. I'm Jill Munroe, of course, and this is your entertainment news update on KBLA Talk 1580. And tonight, we have a lot to unpack. Legends clashing, controversial takes, walk back a little bit, and some leaked jail calls shaking up the rap game. Tonight, we are getting into, Shay Shay, Unc. We've been talking about him a lot. We saw the metamorphosis as he went from Shannon Sharpe to Unc to Shay Shay, right? Even though he's always had the nickname Shay, right? But there was a definite evolution, shall we say, with the goat mask, the cigars, the Hennessy. And one of his former teammates, he has some words to say about Shannon's evolution, right? And the two are kind of going back and forth, albeit Shannon's a little more subliminal. Like, it's Sunday and they're facing off against each other on the football field. Listen, that's what it kind of feels like. So we'll get into those details. I mean, we are just days away from the kickoff of the 25-26 NFL football season. Squad up. Cowboy fans, y'all all right? Never. But Rams fans, stand up. Chargers fans, get it up. By default, shout out to you Raiders fans, because, y'all was once here. Still in our hearts, but you over there now. We're going to see what it do. All right, and we're also going to talk about Snoop Dogg. We talked about his conversation with his grandson and later on a podcast about the Pixar film where he felt that the storyline that involved a lesbian couple was too much for his grandson. Looks like he's walking some of those comments back, so we're getting into that. And Drake Drake popped off on a podcast with Bobby Altoff. Is that how you say your last name? So clearly they made up. They had kind of unfollowed each other and something happened, but now they're speaking again. And Drake showed up on her podcast and he answered the questions about plastic surgery and whether or not he considers himself a culture vulture. So we'll get into that. But before we get into the drama, I got to set the stage with something that, actually shaped the culture for real. Okay. We lost a giant on Tuesday. Hall of Fame coach George Raveling. He passed away at 88 after a battle with cancer. And when I say a giant, I'm not just talking about his 6'4" frame. I am talking about the way he shaped the game of basketball and left his footprints on history. Coach Rav was part of that first trailblazing wave of black coaches at predominantly white institutions, right? He led programs at Washington State, Iowa, and right here in LA at the University of South Central. Just kidding, University of Southern California, USC. His record, 335 wins, 3 schools, multiple NCAA tournament appearances, and he was, by definition, a coach's coach, right? His influence was also felt way beyond the sidelines. At the 1984 Olympics, which took place right here in Los Angeles, he connected with Michael Jordan and his family, and it was actually Coach Rav, not Sonny Vaccaro, who convinced MJ to sign with Nike, right? That decision didn't just change Jordan's life, it transformed the sneaker industry into what we know today. Marlon Wayans recently portrayed George Raveling in the film Air. And another piece of history that people may not know or be aware of was in 1963, Coach Raveling volunteered as security at the March on Washington. And after Dr. King finished delivering his I Have a Dream speech, Raveling asked him for the speech manuscript. And Dr. King handed it over. Coach Rav held on to that for decades before he finally donated it to Villanova, which is his alma mater, right? He literally carried both basketball and civil rights history in his hands. He also lived right here in Ladera Heights. Shout out to that. His son, Mark, works for Jordan Brand. I know him. So I'm sending a lot of love and light to his family. I had the opportunity to hear stories with Coach Rav and to work with him because I worked at Nike in brand marketing, which I've shared with you. So just wanted to take a moment to honor him and his impact. He might not be someone that you are familiar with, but get into his legacy, get into his history, because, it's important to know when we are, losing libraries, losing receipts. And he is one of the greats that you may not be all that familiar with. And so it is important that we honor his legacy. Listen, when we come forward, I got a little bit of trending topics that I still want to drop on you because it's important. And we'll get into our main topics for the night. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's always complaining about me never being at home. But when I'm there, I'm broke. She's telling me about the things that a girlfriend's got, what she ain't got. And she want me to go out and get them for her brother. But girl, I can't be in 2 places at one time. If you think you're lonely now, wait until tonight, girl. I'll be long gone. And you'll never find another man that'll treat you right.
Are you ready for the hottest entertainment scoop in Los Angeles? She's bringing you exclusive interviews with today's biggest stars, behind-the-scenes Hollywood insights, and all the entertainment news you need to know. She's breaking down what's trending, what's ending, and what's just beginning in the world of entertainment. You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
The following is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways with the purpose of soliciting sales of vacation ownership. For complete details, please visit fvgradio.com. If you want a 100% complimentary stay at a luxury resort in Cancun, airfare not included, then Family Vacation Getaways is your ticket to paradise. See website for complete details. We're giving away 5 days and 4 nights to the first 50 callers who can name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. An animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. Do you know it? Call now, 800-868-6431, 800-868-6431. You're also eligible for an exciting bonus vacation to Orlando, Florida for just $498. And don't worry about anything ruining your plans. We can extend your travel up to 18 months. Name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird, and get a complimentary Cancun resort stay and an optional bonus vacation to Orlando for just $498. What are you waiting for? Call 800-868-6431, 800-868-6431, and give us your answer. The proceeding is not a contest and is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways and not sponsored by this program or its affiliates.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Dr. Nicolai Corte. Let's preserve black land stories before they're lost forever. I want to personally invite you to be a part of something historic. As journalist in residence for the Black Land Lost Narrative Archive Project, I've joined forces with powerhouse attorney and social justice champion George Raveling, the man who helped make history by delivering justice to the Bruce family in Manhattan Beach, securing the first known return of land unjustly taken from black owners by a local government. That victory was monumental, but it was just the beginning. For generations, black families have acquired land through grit, faith, and determination, only to lose it through violence, legal loopholes, forced sales, and systematic racism. What's been taken goes far beyond dirt and deeds. It's the erasure of wealth, identity, and legacy. That's why we've launched the Black Land Lost Narrative Archive Project, a national effort to collect, protect, and preserve the stories of black land lost before they're buried, forgotten, or erased altogether. Because there's power in telling black stories, there is resistance in remembering, and there's justice in being seen and heard. This is where you come in. We're inviting you to be a part of this historic black narrative archive. If you or someone you know has experienced land loss, displacement, or forced property sales, your story deserves to be heard and remembered. Your story belongs in this archive. Your truth matters not just to your family, but to our collective future. Visit blacklandlost.org today. Fill out our simple intake form and add your voice to the National Archive of Remembrance, Resilience, and Reckoning. Let's make these stories live on, not in whispers, but on the record. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Dr. Nicolai Corte, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I be on the mile. Mile with that yak. Mile with that yak. Mile with that yak. I'm gonna need miles to take that head, dog. Mile with that yak. 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 You talking crazy. You need to quit, Skill. You need to quit, Skill. You need to quit.
Welcome back in. Clocked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. You know, that was when Club Shannon Sharpe was spawning, people to make little hip-hop records, utilizing his catchphrases and little sayings. Shannon Sharpe was a whole movement for a minute. It remains to be seen what the outcome is, because Skip Bayless is back on these YouTube streets. We'll talk about that in a second. Hey, listen, you know how this goes down. If at any time you want to join in the conversation, 800-920-1580. Hit us up on social media, KBLA 1580. I'm at Stiletto Jill everywhere. Holla at your girl. Say hello. Download the app because it's popping. You can catch up on old episodes. Get all the information from all of the other shows on the station, and catch up, do all of that. And of course the YouTube chat, they're lit, they're already going in right now. We appreciate them each and every day. They're there. So really quick before I get into Ray Lewis versus Shannon Sharpe, I want to mention Cardi B. We know she was on trial for allegedly attacking a security guard back in 2018 when she was going to visit her OBGYN. Cardi has been found not guilty. But here's the tea. Here's the craziness. Here is this world, right? When Cardi was leaving out of court, I I'm not sure if this person was just a fan, if they have a YouTube page, whatever the case may be. He asked her a question. And we know Cardi is pretty friendly with the press. She will interact for the most part, right? So he asked her, was it true, or how did she feel that Offset was saying that her new pregnancy wasn't his at all? And how did Stephon Diggs feel about having a baby with her? Something to that example, right? Cardi threw a pen at this man while she's on trial for assault. She grabbed the pen off of wherever it was and threw a pen at the man and started going off on him. And basically was like, you know, that is a disrespectful question. A woman would never ask another woman this, because this individual was a male. And that how would he feel if his mother heard him speaking to a woman like this and harassing a woman, and he should know better, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know, she does have a point. Come on now, you're not supposed to be asking about, one, Cardi is not confirmed or said that she is with child. You don't know what's going on. Haven't we learned our lesson with that? Right? And then to be questioning the paternity, it's just out of line. Like, I get it. It's, you know, no ceilings. We're bold. We're going to ask whatever. We're going to do the most. But at the same time, that is not of your concern at all. We talk about the stuff, we kick it, we kiki, but come on now. I feel like, why are you even asking her that? You don't care. And it has nothing to do with this case, but we'll see what happens with that, because, you know, Cardi is still, I think the woman is still trying to sue her from when she threw the microphone at her head when she was in concert in Vegas. They're trying to sell that. So, you know, legalese. All right, let's get into this Ray Lewis and Shannon Sharpe topic. So, like we mentioned, right? These two Hall of Famers are clashing, albeit Shannon's comeback was subliminal. He didn't name any names, but it's not on the field this time. And it's basically over the new persona that Ray Lewis feels like Shannon Sharpe has adopted. Ray Lewis was on the PBD podcast last week, and he said that he was shocked at the direction Shannon has taken. He called his content worldly, because we know Ray is highly religious, and ignorant. He said the whole podcast wave is too much gossip, not enough guidance. And, you know, Shannon had his response, but let's check out what Ray had to say first.
Shannon Sharpe, did you think he was one day going to be a good TV guy personality?
Yeah.
So you knew he was made for TV?
Yeah.
And would he say he's going to do it?
Yes, he had already started prepping.
How much before he retired did he tell?
He'd been started.
Oh, so he's known he's going to be doing that.
Yeah.
So you're not surprised by the success he's having with his podcast and TV and him and Skip and Stephen A., all that stuff?
No, I'm not surprised. I'm shocked at his content. I wouldn't, in a million years, the things that Shannon has said now or did now, I would never believe that Shannon would say or do any of this.
Like what?
Simply, I take drinking. Shannon, in my entire career, I've never saw Shannon with a drink. Ever. Like it was against the law, right? Because he had some stuff in his family that he didn't want to follow that. And then so I kind of started to watch him, and then we kind of went our own separate ways, because I'm like, you're going to take that route. I can't go that route. Never can go that route. And that route is to become so worldly that you become popular because you're talking about ignorance, right? A lot of times, a lot of these gossip conversations that they're having and bringing up all this stuff, I'm not going to do that to nobody. I'm not in the business for that. I'm in life to try to teach people what does it mean to be a better man or get back to the kingdom, you know? And a lot of times, and a lot of the guys get in trouble with these podcasts and things, man, because everybody wants the follower, everybody wants to be popular, everybody wants to make money, but that's a tight rope into what you call influence and popularity. Right? The devil has the ability to make you popular. God has the ability to give you influence, that when people see you, they see an image of him. And that's the thing for me that started to switch with not just Shannon, but just a couple of people. I'm like, wow, you would switch out like that? Really? And I would never, ever. Why? Because of the respect that I have for my mother, my daughters, my granddaughters, life, period. Like, and I think men, given these new platforms, we've overrode what the platform is actually for. The platform is supposed to help somebody find a new direction. We don't help. Everybody just gets on. Like, everybody's talking now. Everybody got a podcast. Everybody's is the new marriage coach. Everybody's the new relationship coach. And ain't nobody coaching themselves. Because if you were coaching yourself, when it says power of life and death is found in the tongue, then go back and check out a couple of episodes and ask yourself, do you give life or do you give death? And that's why, me personally, I kind of do my own thing, stay in my own lane.
So Andy's feeling that message. I mean, there are a lot of points there, but I also think that, one, there is something to be said, and perhaps as the, lone entertainment show during the week on a talk radio station, I do understand the value that comes from that bit of escapism, that moment where you can step away from all of the seriousness, all of the ugliness. I know that at some points we have over-indexed on fun, but I believe in play, and the reason why I believe in play is where creativity thrives. That is sometimes where you can find the answers that you may not necessarily be able to find when you're focusing so intently.
Healing too.
It's also healing. Exactly. So, I'm not going to sit here and act as though every single thing has to be enriching in that way. We need breaks. We need outlets, right? Again, not disagreeing wholly with his point, but just the reality is if you are so stringent all of the time, that rigidness kind of rubs away from the things that you want to cherish, the reason why you're putting in all of the structure, right? So Morris Phillips says, Jill, didn't Ray Lewis knock out his old lady? I am unsure about that. Now, we know that Ray Lewis was arrested back at Super Bowl in Atlanta many, many years ago. And we know and the thing that some people have pointed out with this sort of conversation that Ray has brought to the forefront while Shannon is seemingly down is that Shannon stood by Ray's side throughout all of that. Stood up for him when maybe some didn't, Andy?
Which is kind of interesting because Shannon Sharpe right now is, quote unquote, in a down period in his career. And you choose now to speak. Now, I know you was asked a question. I get that. But it's like you could have kind of kept it quiet yourself. I mean, when he was on top and popping, I didn't hear any of this criticism coming from you.
Indeed, indeed. And as we said, the Unk persona started on Undisputed with Skip. So it's not like now Nightcap, he just broke the doors off because it was 11 o'clock. And, Chad Ochocinco Johnson, love him to death. Chad is a baiter. Chad will set you up. And I don't mean this in a malicious way. Chad is good at what he does, And so I think Shannon got comfortable. Shannon started feeling himself. Again, the social media attention, though popular, is very different from what the 90s athletes experienced. It just is. And especially as a personality on CBS Sports, which Shannon was until 2010, different vibes. Totally different vibes. And to Andy's point, Shannon alluded to this being an interesting time for Ray to express his thoughts. Let's check out what Shannon had to say.
I got nothing bad to say. Because a lot of things when you tolerate it, I'm going to go ahead and say my thing. Whatever transpired, I'll bite my tongue. I'll be the bigger person. I'll walk away. Hey, you right. Because you know why, Ocho? It's low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
You know how I know? Because your boy, you looking at him, he low-hanging fruit. And there are a lot of people taking your shot at your boy.
Come on now.
Y'all can have it. Y'all got it. Y'all got me. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. We're going to be all right, OJ.
Yeah.
That tribute say we're going to be all right.
Yeah, listen, I could have told you that. I could have told you that. I've been telling you that.
Yeah.
So
everybody want to pile on. Everybody jump on now. Hey, we got him down, Ocho. We got him down. The best time to, hey, let me get my lick now.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody want to get a lick now because when your boy was doing good, even here, a lot of people that have a whole lot to say. Not everybody got something to say.
Mm-hmm.
So let's be real. Shannon's built a whole second career with Club Shay Shay, the viral sit-downs, nightcap. But he's taken some hits. We know this. Lost the ESPN gig after the settlement with the OnlyFans model. We know that potentially cost him millions. We don't know the exact amount. Ray says it's worldly. Shannon says it's success. What do you guys think? Is Ray just keeping it real, or is there a little bit of salt with that sugar? I don't know. Again, he had some points. The timing is interesting, and everybody's walk isn't the same way. Shannon has definitely made some poor choices and some mistakes, but he is right that not too many people were really talking about the transformation when he was winning. They were just talking about him beating Skip, who, by the way, made his debut on the arena with Gilbert Arenas, Talib, who is it? Aqib Talib and others. So,
Jay Gruden.
Yeah, Jay Gruden. Yep. So we can get into that another time. It was all right. They got to develop chemistry. Anyway, more trending topics, more headlines when we come forward. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're in the know with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Black Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson says federal immigration agents and the National Guard are not welcome in the city.
No federal troops in the city of Chicago!
At a Labor Day rally in the West Loop, Johnson delivered the message while calling for workers' rights as the Trump administration plans an ICE blitz in Chicago. Rapper Cardi B's civil trial is back in Los Angeles this week. A former security guard claims the rapper scratched her face during a 2018 altercation while Cardi, 4 months pregnant at the time, was heading to a doctor's appointment. And President Trump says Washington, D.C. is now a crime-free zone, crediting Black Mayor Muriel Bowser for working with him to bring crime down. On Truth Social, he urged other Democratic leaders, including Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, California Governor Gavin Newsom, Black Maryland Governor Wes Moore, and Black Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson to cooperate instead of criticizing him. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
A crash in Costa Mesa on the 73. This is making your way northbound. It's the connector to the 405 north. Left lanes are blocked, and the drive is pushing back from just about the 55 freeway. It's also going to be slow as you make your way along the 405 northbound in Irvine, leaving just about Sand Canyon. Heavy in stretches all the way to Brookhurst in Fountain Valley. I'm looking at City Terrace, East 10, delays at City Terrace Drive in stretches as you continue all the way to the 15 freeway. And the drive on the 210 in Pasadena, slowing down away from the 134 in stretches all the way to Foothill Boulevard.
You deserve a car that thrills you, a car that puts goosebumps on your goosebumps. At Nissan, they've got everything from turbocharged SUVs to 100% electric vehicles that'll make your heart beat faster. Experience the thrill for yourself. Shop your local Nissan store and NissanUSA.com today.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Former USC men's basketball coach George Raveling, the first African-American men's basketball coach in in the Pac-10 Conference and a coach with a very special connection to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., passed away Tuesday after a battle with cancer. He was 88. The Hall of Fame coach was at USC from 1986 to 1994. He made history in the Pac-10 when Washington State hired him in 1972. Raveling was a 26-year-old assistant coach at Villanova when he was asked to help provide stage security for Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech in D.C. on August 28, 1963. As Dr. King stepped down from the stage after his speech, Raveling asked him if he could have the speech for a souvenir. Without hesitating, Dr. King gave Raveling the papers he wrote the speech on. Raveling held on to the speech for decades, turning down million-dollar offers before donating it to the Museum of African American History and Culture in D.C. in 2021. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcasts of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Got your gear. Follow the leader.
Following the leader.
Oh my God. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
JP Morgan Chase offers tips for the local business owners in 2025. Small business landscape is ever changing, and the Los Angeles market is no exception. A startup or legacy business, revisiting your mission statement and recalibrating offerings can renew opportunities for growth and innovations. Programs like Chase for Business Coaching for Impact gives entrepreneurs access to expert guidance, helping you streamline operations, strategize your growth, and navigate complex challenges. Businesses with a clear sense of purpose can navigate any challenge effectively, but also build stronger customer loyalty. Visit chase.com/coaching for impact for more information. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah. You know how we do it. A little something for the non-believers. Or the underachievers. Y'all know what time it is. Big Snoop Dogg up in this one time. I want y'all to sing with me. Go like this, check it out.
Snoop D-O-double-G, that's me. The way you rip so lovely, it sounds so viciously.
Yeah.
When the thump in the joint go bump, bump, bump. Snoop Dogg double G. That's me. The way you rip so lovely. It sounds so viciously. Yeah. When the thump in the trunk go bump, bump, bump.
Everybody put your hands to the ceiling. Baby girl, go.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. And you know Andy is always on theme, so we are going to get into a little Uncle Snoopy news. Talked about Snoop last week in this topic, but before we do, I didn't mention that yesterday, Kai Cenat, I tell you all the time that I share some of this stuff with you so that you can connect with the youth, connect with your kids, your grandkids, you know, so you know what's going on, right? So right now, Kai is doing his Mafia 3 streaming challenge. So it's basically, I think it's 72 hours. It started yesterday of live nonstop streaming. But they have some extra things in there. He's trying to get 1 million subscribers during this time period. If he does not, I think it's if he does get 1 million subscribers, he's going to cut his dreads. And LeBron James is going to be the one who's cutting them. If you recall, Michael B. Jordan was featured in the trailer. Kim Kardashian showed up to open the streaming marathon and did an interview with them. If you listen to the On the Radar podcast, they have a whole studio set up there where they'll be live podcasting and having upcoming rappers and come in to drop freestyle bars. It's a whole thing. There are tons of celebrities scheduled. He had an opening with the Jabberwockies, all of this stuff. And yeah, it is the moment. It is the youth. The last I saw, which was maybe I checked in last night, but it was nothing happening that was pop culture worthy for me. He had about close to 200,000 subscribers from this. So yeah, that's what the kids are doing. All right. Speaking of the kids, Snoop Dogg had smoke for a Pixar film last week, Lightyear. He felt that the lesbian relationship was too much. He didn't like having to explain it to his young grandson, who was like, what's happening here? I don't understand, right? So now Snoop, following the heat that he caught for his thoughts, which, by the way, no secret that there are a lot of people who felt similarly to Snoop and voiced their opinions in support of him, right? Snoop is kind of walking it back. T.S. Madison kind of, went on Snoop, a couple of others, right? Many have pointed out the explicit scenes that are featured in Snoop's music videos. He had Bow Wow on his first album, Talking Mess, right? So he's used to explaining complicated situations to people or an audience that may not understand. And beyond that, as Van Lathan pointed out, it's kind of your job as a parent, a grandparent, an elder to explain the confusing or uncomfortable things to children, right? So, having said all of that, Snoop jumped on Instagram, right, yesterday, and he's like walking it back a bit. He wrote, "My bad for not knowing the answer for a 6-year-old. Teach me how to learn. I'm not perfect." He said that his gay friends have been calling him with love to educate him, and that's sort of where we're at with it. My question to you is, do you feel it's genuine and Snoop really wants to learn and engage and understand how to communicate? I didn't say agree. I didn't say adopt. I'm just talking about how to have respectfully that conversation, or is it just damage control? Andy?
I think it's all of it.
All of it? A little bit of both?
I think it's all of it. I think in these times that we live in right now, I'll use myself for an example. If I made some comments and a group of individuals, for the most part, checked me about it, and I learned from the situation, me being the individual that I am, to be a better person on a daily basis, I would want to maybe acquiesce to whatever it is that that they believe in out of respect, right? Now, I'm sure for those who know me, me making that transition, some people will question the authenticity. But the reality is I'm evolving and I'm growing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I might have felt real strong, and you know what? I probably still feel real strong. But out of respect for you and this new culture or whatnot, I'm willing to at least learn. So I'm going to go ahead and say it's a little bit of everything. I'm going to go ahead and say that it is genuine. Maybe with a little bit of reluctancy.
I mean, I think, we all recognize that as we grow older and time moves on, things that were once one way have shifted, have grown, and our perspective have changed. So I don't think that is impossible. I actually think that we should give more grace to people, and maybe they would step over the line. Don't know if that's realistic, but that's what I think, right? Morris Phillips in the chat says, Jill, it's called damage control. Royal Jenkins says, Snoop apologized to Gayle King about Kobe in 2020. I mean, let's respect. He's not above issuing an apology. And here, the other side to that is, it might be damage control, but what do you want him to do? Do you want him to stand 10 toes down and not grow as a person or not be respectful? Because sometimes I think people just want to argue. They just want to be right and have a got you moment than they are really concerned about changed behavior or opening up a pathway to have real dialogue.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
I think that statement right there is even indicative of the previous conversation that we had about Ray Lewis and Shannon Sharpe. I love the chat, right? But there's certain individuals in the chat that felt the need to bring up the negativity of Ray Lewis. Like, can we just stay on topic and maybe take heed to what he was saying, as opposed to, why is this individual saying this?
Let me ask you this. Do we make that request when it is people that we are fond of or we sort of revere? Because if, for example, right, we know people have made racist remarks, and are we comfortable, right, when people say, hey, I've grown from that moment. I am not at that place anymore, and that is not something I would do currently, and I recognize why it was wrong. People will still try and point to that. Nope, you said it, so I can't trust you, right? But if we have an affinity for this individual, or maybe, we're close enough to have seen real change, then we feel differently about it.
Great question.
So, listen, when we come forward, we're going to get into your guy Drake. He has answers as to whether he is BBL Drizzy, whether or not his abs are etched, and how he felt about you guys calling him a culture vulture. All of that and more when we come forward. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Your ride with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
If you're an African-American mom who is pregnant or have a baby under 6 months old, you deserve care that lifts, listens, and lasts. Black Infant Health is for you. It's a free program with individual support, group sessions, and resources to start your mothering journey. BIH makes space for moms and their families to create community. Learn more about the programs in Los Angeles County. Check us out at blackinfanthealth.org.
Asthma Peak Week is almost here, September 14th through 20th, and it's one of the most dangerous times of the year for asthma flare-ups. Did you know that Black Americans are about 5 times more likely than white Americans to end up in the emergency room due to asthma? This is an important reminder to be informed, prepared, and proactive. If you or someone you care for has asthma, now's the time to get ready. Make sure medications are filled and not expired. Review your asthma action plan with your doctor or care team. This is also the time to talk with your doctor about your triggers, monitor your symptoms closely, and double-check inhaler technique to ensure you are using all prescribed medications correctly. Caregivers, make sure your child's school or daycare has their rescue medications and know what to do in an emergency. Stay aware, have a plan, and spread the word because your health matters. For more active asthma care tips, visit luma-edu.com. This message is brought to you by Amgen and AstraZeneca.
Are you ready to be a part of the conversation that will help shape our nation's future? Get ready to join us for the Left Coast Forum, Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech, where progressive voices will come together to tackle the issues that matter most to working families across Los Angeles and beyond. From economic justice to climate action, from healthcare to housing, we're bringing together the brightest minds and most passionate advocates for real solutions and real change. With workshops, 2 major keynote addresses, and a closing reception with great music and good food. It's the Left Coast Forum, where your voice matters and your ideas take action. Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech. Brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and the LA Progressive. The future won't wait, and neither should you. Mark your calendar now to be there and be heard. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back. It's Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Okay, so there's lots of opinions about this Snoop situation and what we should say about it. Pretty Brown Mimi says Snoop apologized to Gayle King in 2020 after the Pixar thing, after the backlash, after being pressured. DJ Black 909, 5 years earlier, Snoop Dogg's handlers made him apologize to Gayle King and Susan Rice. It is the same thing today. Royal Jenkins pointing to the conversation I had about if someone said an N-word or some racist things for us years and years and years ago, but they say now that they have moved on from that, they're rehabilitated a new person. Do we honor that? And do we say we got to focus on the now and the today? Royal Jenkins used Michael Richards from Seinfeld as an example. He has no speakable career in a way. So lots of conversation about that. Let's get into Drizzy, because in a way it kind of applies here. Similar thing, maybe not about racism, but some comments that maybe some people would have wanted to walk back. Maybe Drake wants to walk back, but Drake has finally had enough of being called a culture vulture, right? Here's the thing though. It's in a conversation with Bobby Altoff, and my thing is, if you want to avoid being called a culture vulture or have the conversation with somebody about being a culture vulture, maybe Bobby isn't the best podcast to go on, not to go on, but that conversation is probably a bit nuanced, and I don't know realistically if she knows to ask the right questions. I'm not questioning her ability to do an interview. I'm just saying, you know, there's a certain nuance, and she is not of the culture. So there's that, right? But he talked about that, and he said that his intentions are pure, basically. People will describe my collaborations as me taking. They'll put a negative spin on it. I get really sensitive about that. So basically he's saying, I'm just trying to help, Ike. And y'all treating me like I did Tina after that when she was making the suggestions, you know. Drake has been accused of exploiting every wave, UK drill, Afrobeats, dancehall, you name it. And yet, the numbers don't lie. Drake has 13 Billboard Hot 100 number ones, more than 75 top 10s, and nearly every artist he's collaborated with has gone global. And we may have time to get to this, but it's kind of the conversation with Young Thug and Kendrick. Heck, I'll just drop into it right now. So basically, Young Thug, in one of his leaked jail calls, was saying the reason why Kendrick will never be as big as Drake is because Drake helped everybody eat. Drake opens it up to the family. You just want to keep all the love for yourself? This is what Young Thug is saying on the conversation in the call. I can't play it because there's a lot of bleeps in there, and I didn't want to work Andy that hard this evening. However, Thug is saying that, you know, Kendrick doesn't spread the love. He keeps it tight. He keeps it close, and Drake spreads it everywhere and, you know, brings various people in to incorporate. So that is his beef with Kendrick Lamar, and he said Kendrick will never win with that. So bringing that back to what Drake had to say, do you believe it's just that his intentions are pure and he's misunderstood? Or did maybe it start out as such, and there were moments when Drake was feeling himself and wilding out and took advantage, did a little bit more, and now we're here. Andy, you look confused.
I don't know, man. The culture vulture talk is it's kind of tired. I mean, when Drake was popping. What was that? 2008, 2009.
He
early,
ruled the
early
2010s.
We was all vibing and bopping. Wasn't nobody talking about no cultural vulture and all that other type of stuff. So, you know, I'm sure Kendrick highlighted some things, I'll say, at least just in entertainment, that I think people need to pay attention to. And I see how Drake might be that unofficial representative of the stuff that Kendrick is speaking of. But I don't know, like, you know, us as consumers and fans, we could be very fickle at one point. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole 50 and Ja Rule, he was rocking with Ja Rule all of a sudden, and 50 came in the game talking about you over here singing, and now we not rocking with Ja Rule.
I mean, same thing with T-Pain. We was loving auto-tune. And then, you know, Jay said one line, and we were like, the auto-tune is dead. I mean, listen, it is the difference between maybe exploiting and spotlighting, right? We like multiple things. We aren't just necessarily locked into one thing. As far as the abs and the BBL goes, Drake sarcastically said that, yeah, they call me BBL Drizzy, but I don't have a BBL. He said maybe he overdid it on the Photoshop as far as his abs go, but no ab etching there. It's up to you whether or not you believe him. And we have a caller on the line, Eric from Carson. What are your thoughts, Eric, about Drake?
Well, you know, I'm a Drake fan.
We all are, or a lot of us are.
Oh, okay, good. You know, if it came down to Kendrick and Drake, everybody's, you know, divided. I'm on the Drake side.
Oh, I'm not talking about that. I'm firmly implanted on the West Coast side, but that doesn't mean that I don't rock with Drake and I can't listen to Drake music. Rap that.
Oh, good.
Same here.
So, that said, well said, by the way, I'll say that, you know, I don't see how somebody could say that Drake is a culture vulture because, first of all, he's Canadian, but his mother is white and his father is African American. And so the last time I checked, they say if you have like 1/10 or whatever, black blood, you're black. So to me, he has as much right to the culture as anyone who is black. So how could he possibly be a vulture to the culture?
I mean, I think the idea is such that, you know, there are people that, you know the term, all skin folk ain't kin folk, or whatever you may say it. People may feel like because he is Canadian and not, you know, black American, that there might be some things that, you know, ebb and flow he may not honestly connect with, or that experience. But I mean, within, and I'm just going to say it, sometimes within the black community, we ourselves bicker about what is an authentic black experience, right? And so I think there's that people are going to talk and have an opinion. This hip hop movement started a cultural moment, and, you know, it was big. But I think Drake will be fine, as we see. He definitely has elevated some careers. You can't even argue that, right? If I'm thinking about it, Migos, I got put onto basically because of Drake. Kendrick, I think I had heard of Kendrick, but what made me sit up again was his Buried Alive freestyle on, can't remember which Drake album that was, The Weeknd. I discovered The Weeknd because of Drake. So I don't know. Those are just my quick hits. There's, you know, some more for some people, maybe Tim's, a couple of other things. But Drake moved the culture. I say it all the time, from the 2010s, like even up to a couple of years ago. Instagram, if you think about that, was so fueled by Drake quotes on photos. So,
well, I think you and Andy called it, and if our former vice president and she ran for president, if Kamala Harris can be called, she was kind of called a vulture to the culture. So if she could be called that and survive it, I guess Drake is no exception. But to me, if you are black and you are what you appear to be, and he looked like a brother to me. Now he might look like a light-skinned brother, but he still looked like a brother, and he definitely has what's the word I'm looking for? He definitely has the culture. How about that?
Listen, the looks thing depends, again, who you're talking to, because there's lots of people trying to dictate who is Black American and who is not, that are not Black American themselves. So I don't necessarily agree with that, but I think that it is really interesting, the turn that we have taken where we are trying to kick people out of our race and dictate who is really considered Black. It's crazy to me. Andy?
I think the unfortunate thing is you don't hear white folks talking about, oh, this person is from Ireland. You're not white American enough or anything like that.
Well, they not currently, but I will say there was a time, oh, they got Italian blood. Oh, they're Polish. Oh, Irishmen, stuff like that. They have had their own issues with that. Not in defense of, and we know when we're talking about usually the Caucasian community, because there is a physical identity that is, more closely related. It usually comes in the form of class and finances. So that's what I think. Eric, thank you as always for calling in. Listen, we talked about a lot tonight, didn't we, guys? As always, I won't get all into the details of the Young Thug story, like I said, but I gave you the basic highlights. All of his jail calls are leaking, and so I'm sure there'll be more information from them. One thing we know, Young Thug, he wasn't hitting the yard. He wasn't doing nothing. He was up on that phone. He had some money on those books for phone calls. And it's all coming out. All right, guys. Tomorrow, more stories, more receipts. Same Jill energy. You know how I get down. Make sure to check me out each and every Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Coming up next, Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. I'll back at you tomorrow.
That's real. Stop teasing me. Stop teasing me. I could change your life so easily. I keep begging you to stay, but you're leaving me. Leaving me. We got sticks in the club illegally. Got the whole 6 side, they believe in me. We got members east of the DVP. We got members west on the 401. We got a lock on the game, but there's more to come. You gotta pot that till the morning come. You want shots for the girls, damn, order some. Who's calling it? Who's calling it? Who's calling it? Who's calling it? Who? Hey. Is it Stacy? Is it Becky? Is it Keisha?